Hi, I'll just walk you through with setting up Jasmine with TypeScript and then create a simple Jasmine test. This is going to be a very basic setup with minimum tools required to create Jasmine test for TypeScript. So let's give it a try. I'm using Visual Studio Code as editor, but you can use any editor of your choice. Open a terminal and initialize Node.js project by passing command npm init. This will take us to a wizard asking information that defines project metadata. Enter this information or just skip to have default information. This creates package.json that we are going to use later. Here is the package.json created. Next we need to set up TypeScript, and to do so we pass command npm install savedev TypeScript. This brings node modules into the project for us. Okay, time to configure Jasmine. So let's start with installing dependencies for creating testing environment with Jasmine. So let's pass command npm install savedev jasmine types Jasmine. It contains type definition for Jasmine. Next command is npm install savedev tsnode jasmine ts. So the TypeScript code is transpiled into JavaScript code, and Node utilizes JavaScript files. So tsnode does this conversion for us. Jasmine ts is used to write test in TypeScript. So let's do this as well. Next command that we pass is npm install savedev jasmine spec reporter. Using this, it displays execution test results in pretty way on the console. Let's go for that. So we have all dependencies with us now already installed. Let's go ahead and then create this file manually that gives information where test files are located, format of the tests, and reporter to be used. Let's name this file as jasmine.json. These are the contents of this jasmine.json. We'll talk about this later. But this file is later on configured in package.json under script part to run Jasmine tests with npm command. We'll see how we do that. Now we create a simple test. Let's create a folder named spec, and under this spec folder we are going to keep our tests. It is very important that this folder name matches to the value provided for property spec underscore dir in jasmine.json, as it is going to look for the tests under folder named spec only. So this property and the folder name, it should be matching. Under the spec folder, I create a file named calculator.spec.js. Now again, it is very important that the extension of this file is .spec.ts. So ts, obviously it stands for TypeScript, but .spec, it is something that we have already mentioned in jasmine.json. So here spec files, as we say, small s or capital S, spec.ts, all the tests should be residing in this spec.ts, and that's the reason we have this extension spec.ts. Here we create our first Jasmine test. It starts with describe block. This describe block takes two arguments, and let's say calculator tests. The second argument it takes is a function. It's a callback function. This describe block has it block in it, which again takes two arguments. The first argument is string, let's say first Jasmine test. Second argument is again a callback function. This callback function in the it block has test or test expectations and matches. We can have several it blocks under this describe block. Let's just create one as of now for the sake of simplicity. As there is no project that can be tested, I will create a test that will always pass. This test expects 1 equals 1. I will say to be truthy. Well, now we are done with creating our test. Now we want to run this test. And to run this test, we need to do some settings in package.json. In package.json under scripts, we need to change this default property and say jasmine-ts and configuration from jasmine.json, which means the package.json, this test script, it is going to pick the jasmine.json all the tests from the jasmine.json file under the directory spec and all the files that are with the extension spec.ts. Thus, calling npm run test will trigger our tests. Let's go for it. And here we see output with our test passing. This can be extended to have multiple tests. In next part, I will try to explain with creating a test for a project under source folder. Hope you find this helpful as a beginner. Thank you and have a nice time.